For us to become effective leaders tomorrow, we need to take the initiative today. Let us begin to groom. Let us begin to groom those people, those youths, that tomorrow they will be our leaders. It is very, very vital. You can hear you can see the issue that is happening, in Benue State. I mean, look at a leader, somebody who was a military, head of state, who know what security is all about. People are being killed recklessly, and you don't give a damn, you don't give a shit. Meanwhile, at the end of the day, what happened? When you decide, because of the outcry, they send people, you send police. The same thing that same day, simultaneously, the killing in Benue State, the same killings happen in River State. Yes. What happened? They sent SSS. How many days they were able to arrest the guy? In fact, they shot the guy, located him in Enugu. They killed him because the real arm of the law took effect. But in Benue State, they sent police. What can police do against a terrorist group, sophisticatedly armed to the teeth with the most modern weapons in the world? The pertinent question I want to ask us is, since when did the Fulani started carrying arms? And if they are carrying arms, the first question is it legitimate or illegitimate? And if it is legitimate, who approved it? If it is illegitimate, why is it that the government is not sanctioning those animals? Ourmumudondo, it is about time we Nigerians should take our destiny into our hands. Enough is enough. And that is why I'm calling on all of us, particularly the youth, because like me, I am almost gone, so I don't need to. Yes, I'm telling you the truth. I don't have to mince words. I'm telling you the truth, because I've lost hope. I've lost hope in the Nigerian nation.
Going back, no going back, oh, no going back. If you see Buhari, tell us, say, ourmumudondo, no going back. Hey, when someone struggle, to shori buruku. Atiba, talaye ti daye. When someone struggle, to shori buruku. Atiba, talaye ti daye. When someone struggle, to shori buruku.
Greatest Nigerian people.
Great.
I can't hear you. Greatest of the greatest of the greatest of the greatest Nigerian people.
Yes.
I want to hear it in such a way that the foundation of Aso Rock will be shaking. Greatest Nigerian people. Yes. Cabal must go. And you know that this country is run by cabals at every level. There's a fuel scarcity cabal in this country. There is a political cabal in this country. There is a cow cabal in this country. There is a gas cabal in this country. There's an area boy cabal in this country. Right? There are prostitution cabal in this country. There's a human trafficking cabal in this country. Generally, the suffering of Nigerians are being managed and operated by cabals at different levels. When you hear cabal must go, some people might mistake that it is a cabal around Buhari that we are talking about. No, it's talking about Buhari as the head of the cabal.
We keep on asking and begging. Please, do this for us. Please, restructure this way. Please, rule us this way. Please, stop this fuel subsidy. The time for asking is over. The time for taking and doing ourselves is here. Fellow Nigerians, we have asked and begged for too long. We cannot ask them anymore. They do not have more hands than we have. We have two hands. We have one head like them. It is not our destiny or our entitlement to be poor. It is not our destiny or our entitlement to be victims or to suffer. The same way it is not their entitlement to be rich. It is not their entitlement to be wealthy, to be privileged, to drive in bulletproof cars. It is time that we return power to the masses. It is time that people who are not used to flying in private jets get into power. It is time that people who do not have friends that have private jets get into power. It is time for us to stop complaining. It is time for this struggle to reach a certain conclusion. Fellow Nigerians, we have been victims. Some of us have been victims under PDP. Some of us used to support PDP. Some of us used to support APC. Both parties are being retired now. Both APC and PDP and their friends, the cabal, their cronies, who support both parties, who donate to both parties, and them who switch from one party to the other. It is time to retire that cabal who have been in Nigeria since 1960, who have been running the affairs of this country since 1960. It is time to retire them. We are cabal undertakers.
Oh yeah, anyone lọ ìjọba olè. Ìjọba ayọ̀. Anyone lọ.
Buhari don't fall for Ojota. Buhari don't fall for Ojota. Saraki don't fall for Ojota. Dogara don't fall for Ojota.
Don't let us have the illusion that the struggle will be a short one. The people who are managing our sorrow, the people who are managing our suffering, the operators of our unemployment, the gadflies who are making sure that this country will not see electricity, they are not sleeping. As we speak now on a Saturday, they are attending weddings of their children and their relatives. The contractors are smiling to the bank. Nigerians saw repression, they saw depression. When Nigeria exited depression and repression, when we exited the depression and recession, we have only been faced with another level of repression. Both governmental repression and non-governmental repression through a lot of their killer headsmen, killer head squad, and also killer government officials who are breaking into people's homes, detaining people illegally, and generally putting this country under a new kind of siege. That is what young people in this country must decide will come to an end. As our friend at Cabal Must Go just said, we may not be able to end the struggle now, but we can make the struggle come to a head very soon. There has to be some form of coalition between the forces of evil and those oppressed good people of this country. There has to be a drawing of a line that cannot be crossed by any of these guys anymore. And it is not their duty to do that for us. It is our job to ensure that we say no to any form of economic policy that allows our young people to travel for days only to end up at the bottom of the Mediterranean Sea in the front of Libya. We must say no to a situation where you produce crude oil and you end up having to queue for days, if not weeks, trying to buy just one of the products that comes from crude oil, which is petrol. We must say no to a situation where some people are licensed or unlicensed to carry gun, but they are licensed to kill in the names of either Fulani herdsmen or even Niger Delta militants or kidnappers or armed robbers or even government officials themselves who have their individual killer squads. Because one thing we must be very careful about when we are talking about Fulani herdsmen is that it is not only Fulani herdsmen that are licensed or unlicensed to kill in this country. There are several other herdsmen or headmen who are killing on a daily basis, who are killing Nigerians. And the number one head of that cabal is President Buhari, who is indifferent to any of our calling for a change and reform. We have had too much in terms of patience. That's why we are being taken for granted. Do you want to be taken for granted forever? No. Do you want this suffering to continue forever? No. Are you willing and ready to fight for your rights?
Yes.
If you are, we must be more than this next time. We must not be less than 2 million people next time, 3 million people, because the people who are holding this country to ransom are not even more than 50. So why is it that 150 million people are afraid of 50 people? I've never heard that before anywhere in the world. When they did it in Egypt, the Egyptians stood up to them and drove them away. They did it in Tunisia. People in Tunisia did it and drove the cabal away. Even in small Gambia here, they did it and drove the cabal away. As a matter of fact, in 2015, when we were voting in February, we thought that we were getting rid of a cabal.
We were scammed.
Known violently, but it has become a 419. Right? So we must end the scam this time. But don't be under any illusion. And I must say this again, that this scam can be resolved by another gerontocratic arrangements, where some old people will go and coin another word and say that they want restructuring. The people who have been restructuring Nigeria into their pockets since they were born cannot restructure it for you. Never. Never. It's not going to happen. So they are just giving you another song from their album of oppression. So they give you another track so that you keep singing, you fall asleep, and they will come back to power again. Because the major problem Nigeria is facing with the cabal is that somebody in Ojota, the gorilla there, and the half-dead man in Mina will choose somebody to run Nigeria for you, and they will get the cabals within the financial sector, the oil fraudsters to fund the person, and they will now come and recruit us to work for them. And we have been working, and we have never been paid. This is the time to retire from that kind of job. There's nobody amongst you who would like to work in a place where you don't get paid, you don't get salaries, you don't get benefits, you don't get retirement package. And let me quickly address the issue of Fulani herdsmen and why it is important that we address it holistically and fundamentally. First, it has to do with law enforcement failure in this country. Yes. That anybody can carry an AK-47 from one section of Nigeria to the other without a policeman saying, where did you get it from? Secondly, of course, they have forefathers. The same way Boko Haram has forefathers in the government. The same way the Fulani herdsmen have forefathers in our own government. That is if it is not the president of Nigeria that is their main grand patron and who is urging them on. But the same thing happens to the Niger Delta region. But there's a problem also of our own consumption mentality. Before we can address this, we must have responsible government in every state of the federation. And we must address the way we eat as well. If you are well known, if you know cow very well, and the way we eat cow, especially the people who are complaining, you discover that we are the only people who eat every part of cow. You eat the nose, you eat the ass, the tail, the tongue, the eyes, the blood, you eat the intestine, the liver, you eat the leg, you eat, the thigh. After you are finished, you eat the esophagus. Then after you are done, you eat the bones. You eat the skin. When you are done with it, you eat the fats of cow. As long as we don't address the demand and supply side of this problem, the Fulani herdsmen, as they are empowered, will not go away anytime soon. Because also, most of the Fulani herdsmen are actually rearing cow for the rich people in this country. They are the ones who are giving them the cows and supplying them the weapons. So until we drain the swamps, swamps in every part of our Nigeria today, and I hate to use that terminology that was once invented by Donald Trump, but it is the truth that we must drain the swamp of all these cabal members who are behind every crime in this country. If we don't do that, we are scratching the problem on the surface. And the solution is to confront them and their headsmen their killer squad, their police, their army, their DSS, all at once, headlong, and rid this country of the kind of slavery that we have seen in the last 57 or so years that Nigeria has been in existence as a nation created by a prostitute known as Flora. That was the girlfriend to Mr. Lord Lugard, who named Nigeria from River Niger. She was drunk that night, and they said, where is this area? They said it's the Niger area. Before then, Nigeria, Togo, Benin, and part of Ghana used to be known as Slave Coast. But the truth is that we still remain enslaved to both the white man, the international corporations, and also our own black brothers here. They are the ones maintaining and pouring shit in the shit hole that Donald Trump is talking about. And there's never a short of supply in the shit hole. They are pouring it in our face every day. But it is time to push the shit to hit the fan. And when shit hits the fan, it's what Fela calls ruffle. Everybody will be smelling. You know, it is time to change the direction of oppression, not to oppress others, but to resist them against the enslavement that they have put us in.
We do not need a prophet to tell us that PDP they are armed robbers and APC they are fraudsters. And it's high time that we build a movement of Nigerian masses from the below. Nigerian masses from 2019 must begin to build to take up to political power. We must wrestle political power out of this government of looters, out of the government of fraudsters, and out of the hands of bandwagons of armed robbers.
ṣe yẹn ni ẹ ti nù àní ìjọba tó wà níta yìí ìjọba olè ni wọ́n ìjọba onínilára ni wọ́n ẹ jẹ́ àjọyọ̀ ìjọba olè ẹ jẹ́ kí gbogbo wa ká mú ìwé ìdìbò wa dání 2019 ti dé ká fi ìbò wa ká fi yọ wọ́n dànù. Olè!